Hey guys, back again to another weekend project. Today we're gonna do something easy, simple, and fixable. We're gonna change the water pump on this 2003 Toyota Sequoia. This is the beautiful V8 4.7 liter. And the reason why we're changing the water pump, if I can kind of get you a nice close up there so you can see the coolant is gushing out. So that's a premature failure on the water pump itself. Now this truck does have about 200,000 miles. I do know that the timing belt was changed maybe about 40,000 miles ago. But since we're already doing this water pump, we're gonna go ahead and swap out and change that timing belt. We're gonna put a hydraulic tensioner, idle bearing, and a tensioner bearing. And if you're able to follow along, I'll make sure that I get you the best possible detailed step-by-step way to do this job. Now, I always recommend to go with ASIN. ASIN, this is a kit that comes with the box. Basically, it gives you a brief outline, and it comes with everything, guys. It comes with the hydraulic tensioner, it comes with the timing belt, it comes with you know, the bearings, and also the water pump. It comes with the gasket as well, and the O-rings there as well. So come along with me. I'm gonna hopefully guide you through this process. You know, I'm using basic hand tools, especially if you have access to electrical cordless. That's gonna make your job a lot easier. But you could also do this with regular ratchet breaker bar. You know, you will definitely need a puller to kind of help you maneuver the harmonic balancer down there. Also, just for the sake of this video, I also purchased this Amazon, 20 bucks, and this is a tool in case you don't have a strong enough impact to get the harmonic balancer out. In case I need to, I'll definitely show you how to use this tool when we get there. But guys, hopefully you guys could follow along and enjoy this video. And like always, thumbs up, like. Let's get started, guys. All right, guys, so the first step we're gonna go ahead and do, we're gonna go ahead and remove the negative battery terminal, just so that way you don't have to worry about getting electrocuted, because we will be removing not all the way, but we're gonna go ahead and set aside the alternator. And as I move it around, I don't want it to touch any metal objects, and you know, that's a different story in itself. So let me go and remove this real quick. That way we can kind of you know, play it safe. All right, and then the next step, we're gonna go ahead and drain the coolant, and for that I'm gonna use just a bucket. And if you go down here, and we're gonna go ahead and put the bucket underneath, there is a petcock right here that Toyota has. We're just gonna go ahead and put the bucket right there, and we're just gonna go ahead and turn this counterclockwise. I'm sorry, let me do that real quick, like so. And the way this works, we're just gonna go ahead and turn it until coolant starts to come out. You don't have to take it off completely, as you can see, that's coming out. So we're gonna go ahead and let that drain. Now that's not gonna completely remove the coolant from the truck. There's still gonna be some coolant on the block itself, but once we remove the water pump, that should kind of gush out, and we'll have a catch pan ready to catch that in. But just be very mindful, friends. Sometimes if you have you know, pets, dogs love this, and if they drink this, you know, they'll be in heaven. So other than that, let's go ahead and finish this up, and then we'll go to the next step. And here's a recommendation. Make sure that the vehicle is cool before you start this project. I'm gonna go ahead and just remove the radiator cap, just to allow that flow to continue continuously. I don't know if you can hear it, but now it's gushing out like so. Let's go to the next step. Okay, as we let that coolant drain, we're gonna go ahead and start removing some components. The first thing I like to remove is just this top here, so that way it could allow us to get the air intake housing out of the way. So let's go ahead and remove this. This is held on by two 10mm nuts, one here and one there. So it's gonna remove that real quick. All right, and just go ahead and set these aside. And I would also strongly encourage you, you know, have a nice work area to place all your stuff. As you tackle on this project, you're gonna have a lot of bolts, things out of the way. So just have a nice work area to do that job. And again, that's gonna allow us to expose this. And this is also a 10mm hose clamp nut. So go ahead and remove that. I mean, not remove it, but just loosen it up, as so. And we're gonna go ahead and loosen it up here as well, like so. And now that we have that loosened up, we're gonna go ahead and start to kind of remove these vacuum hoses in here. Just pull them out like so. There's a clip here that's holding on to that. You can use a flathead screwdriver to remove this, or you could just muscle it out like this. And then there's also some more vacuum lines. I might have to change this one, but just be gingerly careful, because these are pretty brittle as well. Oh, this is a cool opportunity to show you this tool I just got. Let me see if it works. So this is a new tool I've got. I've been itching to use it. I haven't had an excuse, but now I do. This is kind of like a hose or tube remover. In this case, see this one right here? Let me see. So I'm gonna go ahead and just, according to the instructions, you gingerly pry it in here and just push it. Let's see. I guess it's a fail. Or maybe I just, oh, there we go. Never mind, I take that back. Pretty smooth, huh? Oh, beautiful. Invest one of these guys. Literally, Amazon has them for like about 10 bucks. Let's go to the next step. All right, so now that we have this removed, we know that nothing is touching it. We're gonna go ahead and also disconnect the mass airflow sensor. Just put this little pin in here. I mean, press this little clip and just push it outwards. This seems to be stuck. Well, let me. Definitely stuck. No worries. Let me go ahead and see if I get a screwdriver and do this with two hands real quick. Bear with me. Alright guys, I'm gonna get you a good angle. All you do is just push this pin here, just get a flathead screwdriver and just pry gingerly the bottom in case it's too stuck. Pretty easy, right? Alright, let's move on to the next step. Okay, so normally there's a 10mm bolt here, but the truck didn't have it. But this is a necessary bolt that you have to remove, so that way we can remove the housing. Now, since you already loosened this up, sometimes this could be easy to pull. Just grab it and pull. In this case, it's hard. So if you have a little hook pick, you can kind of go around the part here to kind of loosen that from the block itself, because again, heat and plastic, they kind of mash together. But that's gonna, you know, give it that nice loose fit. You can just go around it. Just be careful not to you know, break the plastic housing. And then once we loosen that up, we're gonna go ahead and there's a couple clips that we're gonna loosen the intake, and this one's gonna go here and this one's gonna go there. And that's gonna allow us to kind of remove this, push it up. And then once we have those clips out, we could just gingerly put this up. As you can see, that has been disconnected or detached from there. We're just gonna pull it aside like so. And we're just gonna kind of put it in out of harm's way there. Let's continue. Okay, so next up, we're gonna go and remove the upper radiator hose. Pretty easy, guys. We're gonna go ahead and I'm actually using this tool in case you're interested. This is a pretty cool tool, 20 bucks at Amazon. We're just gonna put this in here like so. And it's already holding the clamp out of the way. And I'm gonna take this off. And I'm gonna use the same tool to maneuver the other clamp. Just squishing that bad boy and it locks it in place. And that's gonna be pretty cool, so that way you can just move these out like so, and then clip them. And then if you have a nice hose pick, that's gonna help you out gingerly. And this is a good time, guys, to inspect your hoses and determine if they need to be replaced. So again, this, I'm just gonna go ahead and replace them since I'm already doing this job. And again, once you disconnect that and it starts to move, you could just pry this out. Oh, lost you there, guys. Get back that. There we go. We're just gonna go ahead and get this out like this, and then push the other one out like so. Okay, so the next step, we're gonna go to remove the lower radiator hose. I'm just gonna remove it out of the way, and then you can remove it from the bottom as well, so that way it doesn't kind of bother you when we start removing the power steering alternator. It's not on your way, but I'll go ahead and remove the bottom in a minute. The next step, we're gonna go to remove the thermostat housing. Basically, it's held on by 3 12mm nuts, one here, one there, and another one right here. Hopefully you can see that. So let me go and remove that real quick, and then we'll continue. Okay, once the bolts are removed, you're gonna gingerly take the thermostat housing out of the way. Keep in mind there's gonna be some coolant as well. And make sure you know where the direction is of the thermostat. This is also a good time to replace the thermostat as well, since you're here. See the little bell? It's on this clock position. Looks maybe like a 12 o'clock position. So I'm just gonna go ahead and remove this out of the way. Just pry it out. Pretty stuck in there. But again, make sure you have a catch pan. I need to go get mine real quick. All right, so once you remove that thermostat housing and the thermostat inside, the next step, we're gonna go and remove the serpentine belt. Now, before you remove the serpentine belt, try to dry it on a diaphragm so that we can kind of see where everything goes. If your truck comes with the actual routing diagram, then that's even better. But for this, in order for us to get the serpentine belt, we're going to need a 14mm wrench or socket, and we're going to go ahead and turn it counterclockwise. Let me show you guys. All right, we got the wrench inside, and we're just going to go ahead and turn it counterclockwise, and that's going to allow me to remove the serpentine belt. I don't know if you guys can see that, but let me see if I can do it with one hand. Hold the camera with the other hand, and then just loosen this bad boy out. And we're just going to go ahead and maneuver the serpentine belt out of the way, like so. And this is also a good time to inspect the serpentine belt to see how good it is. I'm going to replace it, but a good way to check it out is just kind of bend it this way, and if you see some cracks, it's a good time to replace it. I don't see any cracks on this. You know what? It looks pretty good, but since I'm doing this job, I want to make sure I do it right. So I'm going to replace this as well. Alright guys, so next step, I'm going to go ahead and remove the second part of thermostat housing, which is up here. It's the whole thermostat housing, but I'm going to remove it. So I'm just going to use this amazing tool. That's going to allow me to move it out of the way. Try that out of the way real quick. Now that we have that out of the way, I'm going to use a pick to pry this hose out of the way, just gingerly. And also it's a good time to inspect it in case it needs to be removed. In this case, it looks pretty good. I'm just going to push it down, but before I do, I'm going to remove this real quick. Let me just make sure it's nice and out. Okay. And we have two 12mm bolts. We're going to remove. That's one, and that's two. And just keep in mind that you know, this one's shorter and this one's longer. Obviously, when you pry this out, I'm gonna put those bolts back in place. But the way it goes, and keep in mind also that you are gonna have to use a little bit of force to take this out, just because there is a gasket here. Sometimes it's a RTV gasket or a water pump gasket. So I'm going to go ahead and pry this out gingerly, and again, have your catch pen on. And there is an O-ring in here that you're going to have to kind of fight a little bit, like so. And then since I already loosened this up, I'm just going to go ahead and remove this, pull it out. And this is why it's very important that you're able to maneuver it and pick it out like so. Okay. And don't forget to put your bolts like so. That way you don't forget how you put them in order. Okay. And again, there is a I want to say, oh, this one didn't have it. Let me check. Oh, don't forget that the little rubber O-ring, the kit came with it. Here's the O-ring, and sometimes the O-ring does get stuck in here, so don't forget to pick it out if it does. Okay, so let's go into the next step. All right, the next step, we're going to go and remove this pulley, serpentine pulley. It's basically held in by a 14mm bolt. So we're going to go ahead and put this in here. We're going to go ahead and turn it counterclockwise. And there is a backing plate. Just be careful not to drop it. Oh, here you guys go. Here's the bolt, and you can see it's pretty long. Alright guys, so next step we're going to go and remove the fan clutch. It's basically held on by four 12mm nuts, 1, 2, and then 2 at the bottom. For this step guys, I would highly encourage to use some WD-40, some PV Blaster, something to unloosen these bolts, because they could get pretty tight. You could use a pulley holder for this job, or you could use a long 12mm wrench and a pry bar. And what I'm doing here to break these out, I wanted to show you guys, I'm basically putting my pry bar in between the bottom nut. I don't know if you could see that. Let me see if I give you a close-up real quick. Bear with me. Okay. All right, so I'm basically putting the pry bar on the bottom, like here, and then I'm putting a wrench in here. Basically all I'm doing, I'm holding this like so, and I'm muscling this, and there we go. We loosen that bolt, and we're gonna do this all the way around, one by one. And here's this in action again. I'm putting this pry bar, see how it has that curve in here, and just putting this wrench in here, and I'm just giving it the beans. There you go. That's out. And I'm going around. So let me go ahead and remove this real quick, and then we'll come back to the next step. All right, guys. So sometimes these are pretty stuck in there. Even with the 4 nuts removed, I'm trying to push it out and it doesn't. But don't worry about it. What you can do, use a pry bar and just get under here, this little lip, and just gingerly pry it out like so. Turn it around, kind of creating a small little push like so. I don't know if you can see, but you can see some movement on the actual but do it gingerly. Don't go Donkey Kong, because this is metal and you don't want to go ahead and damage that. But just check your time, and that's going to create a little gap like this. See that? And now we can go ahead and definitely put a screwdriver flathead like so in these little grooves, and then we can try to gingerly hit it with the mallet if you do have access to one. Gingerly, you could just go around, and that way we can kind of break that that seal, whatnot. Let me go ahead and do this around, and then I'll come back, guys. Okay guys, another thing you can do in case your fan clutch is stuck for whatever reason, once you start prying, you can use 2 screwdrivers, flatheads. You can just put them on one on each side and just pry the fan clutch out like so. I did put some PV Blaster on it so I can kind of get that lubricated, but we're gonna go ahead and gingerly pry this out like so, just enough not to damage. Oh, there we go, friends. I think it's out. There we go. Success. We actually got it out. There we go. So in order for us to remove the fan clutch, we do have to remove the fan. Give me 1 second. The fan shroud is basically this bad boy. It's held on by 4 10mm bolts. One here, one down there. I think that doesn't have it. And here's another one. Here is the third, and then there's a 4th one over there as well, but this one just has 2. So I'm gonna go to remove this. Give me 1 second. Just Careful not to lose the bolts. And then the other one, I'm gonna use a ratchet to loosen this up. Oh, there we go. And this is gonna come out. And once we remove this bad boy, we're gonna be able to remove the fan clutch and this strap. I'm going to get my walkie here. Bear with me. There we go. Again, just be careful not to damage. And let me go and get this out of the way. Let me put this here. And then that's going to allow us to remove the actual fan clutch. And the strut is basically clicked in. They're at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that. But once we remove that, we're just going to go ahead and remove this. And we're going to remove this in here like so. And we're just going to go ahead and put this somewhere safe. And get this out of the way. All right, guys, let's go to the next step. Okay, you do have the option to remove the radiator, but I'm not going to remove it. I just removed the lower radiator hose, so that way the next step I'm going to go ahead and remove the power steering pump. But again, I have access to power tools, and I also have a tool in case my power tool cannot do the job. I could place it on the balancer, harmonic balancer, remove it. But I mean, this is just an extra step that you could just not do. You don't really need to remove it, and I'll show you as we go. Okay, so again, let me go and remove this so that way I don't lose it, and just put it away there. All right, so the power steering is basically held in by I believe two 14mm bolts, and actually you can see the bolts if you kind of maneuver the pulley. That's one bolt, and then if you need to get to the other bolt, you can see it right there. So you could kind of use that to your advantage. Again, this is just and again, I think it's two, but I'll double check right now as I get this power steering out of the way here. Give me 1 second. Okay, that's one bolt, and there's the other one. There we go. All right, I'll tell you right now, if it was 2 bolts or 3, it's been a while I haven't done one of these, so forgive me for. Okay, so I think it's gonna be then 3 bolts because it's not loose enough. But let me go and remove this bolt, and then I'll try to get the other bolt in a second. So that's the top one right there, and this one is the bottom there, and they are the same size, as you don't have to worry about getting those mixed up. Oh, silly me. This is the third one right here, and that's actually a nut. It's not a bolt. All right, let me go and remove that real quick. Let me zip it out here. Oh, there we go. Let me make sure. There we go. And that's going to be the top. Like so. So just remember, this is going to be the top one. And then the other one is going to go ahead and be the other 2 ones that go there. So in order for us to kind of move this out of the way, we're not going to fully remove it. We're not going to disconnect the hoses or anything like that. We're just going to go ahead and just set it aside. Just follow the hoses And up here, just this little butterfly clamp. Just pull it out with a vacuum line like so. And then it's gonna allow us to kind of set the power steering kind of out of the way like so. And the next step, we're gonna go and remove the alternator, and that's the reason why we're removing this out of the way. So alternator, I believe it is 2 nuts, one here and the other one here at the bottom. All right, and I believe those are also 14mm bolts. So let me go ahead and get those out. All right, guys, a correction. The alternator, it is a 14mm nut, and then we have a 12mm nut there. Just wanted to correct myself there. So let me go ahead and zip these out like so. This one at the bottom. Okay, be careful not to drop it. And the top one right here. There we go, I dropped it. Let me go ahead and get it out real quick. Hopefully it's in here. I guess not. This is why we have to be very careful, friends. I have to crawl in there and find it. Let me go do that real quick. Okay, guys, quick correction. There's actually a 14mm nut, a 12mm nut, and then a 14mm bolt. I forgot to mention on the alternator. Let's remove that. I'll go ahead and put it right here next to my other bolts. The alternator should basically come out, and we're just going to go ahead and we're not going to disconnect it. We're not going to disconnect any power or any type of thing. We're just going to go ahead and set it aside, so that way we can continue working and maneuvering this. So let me go ahead and get this out, set it aside there for a minute. Just going to lean it against the body there, and then that's going to give us more room to continue for the next step. All right, so let's go and continue. All right, next we're going to go ahead and start removing the timing belt covers. This is held by, I think, let's count them, 1, 2, 3, 4 10mm bolts. So I'm going to remove those real quick. And this is going to allow us to expose the timing cover. And we're going to do that, and then we'll go to the next step, friends. Okay, once we remove those bolts, we're going to go ahead and expose the actual timing belt. And as you can see, seems that there's a lot of coolant in there. So we're going to go ahead and continue. The next step, we're going to go and remove this other cover here. This is held in by, this is a 12mm bolt, one here and one there as well. So let me remove that real quick. Gonna get it out of the way. That's the top one, and here is the bottom one, and they're the same size, so that way you don't have to worry about figuring out which is which. And this one should come out like so, and that's going to go ahead and expose that. We could clean that out in a little bit. I can definitely see the water pump. Wow. I could tell it's been leaking for quite some time. Pretty interesting, huh? So next thing, we're gonna go ahead and remove the belt tensioner. And I believe this is also a 12 millimeter. Let me double check. Yes, indeed. So we're gonna go ahead and zip this nut. And there's this other one here. And I believe there is one more here at the bottom. I don't know if you guys can see this one. And actually, it's this one. I'm sorry. I don't know if you can see this with my hand, but it's right here. So I'm gonna remove that real quick. All right, so once we remove this nut and this other nut, and this right there for the tensioner, that way I don't mix them up. The belt tensioner should basically pry out like so, like this. There we go. And what I like to do, so that way I don't mess up these bolts, kind of like to put, as I remove them and put them out of the way. That's very important that you set yourself up a nice work area to get that done. And as you can see, a lot of damage right there. All right, let's continue to the next step. All right, guys, so now we're gonna go a little bit on this side to continue removing some stuff. Let's go ahead and remove some of these hoses, vacuum hoses, just so that way we can do away with a couple things here. There we go. Just let this out of the way. And also we're gonna need to remove this one as well. If you have some nice pliers, just get them out of the way so that way we can pull this tube, because this is connected to the oil coolant line. So we're gonna go ahead and just get it out of the way there. So try to do your best and be patient, guys. Don't rush it. Sometimes time is your best friend there, right? And just get this out of the way. Let me see. Let's break this seal. Just be very careful not to damage the holes. Take your time, because believe me, these repairs add up. The least thing you want is to continue putting more parts into it. I think I should definitely break the seal there. Let me try. Okay, nope. What we can do, you can also get these nice pliers and just see if you could move it around. There we go. I think that should be enough. Just kind of gonna pull this out of the way. And again, the reason why I'm taking this out is because it's connected to the actual cooler line, that whole thing there. And we're gonna go ahead and remove this 10 millimeter little bolt there. And that's gonna allow us to remove, let me see if I can get it there. I don't wanna drop that. I think it's gonna drop. Give me 1 second, guys. was able to not allow it to drop. Here's the little guy, and that's just going to allow us to kind of remove and put this aside like so. That way we don't, it gives us space to continue to tear down this stuff. All right, so I'm going to put this here so I don't forget. And next step, we're going to go to remove this second timing belt cover, and you have some clips. Go ahead and unclip these, and I think I'm gonna use a screwdriver to pry this out, so I can go ahead and remove this. And then we're gonna go ahead and remove these 10mm bolts holding this all around. So I'm gonna do that real quick, and then we'll come back. Okay, so once you disconnect this, all you do is just push this little clip down, disconnect this, and then with the screwdriver you could pry this out to get this connection out of the way. And now we're going to go ahead and start removing these 10mm bolts holding the timing cover. And I think there's one more here at the bottom. Well, actually there was one right here, but it's missing. Let me double check if there's any down here. I pretty much don't see. Let me double check here. Oh, don't forget to remove this as well. And I think that's, oh, there's actually one more right here. So I'm going to remove that, and that should free up that timing belt cover. Okay, so once you remove those, all the bolt covers for the cover, we're going to go ahead and just set this harness aside. And then we're going to go ahead and gingerly remove this other cover. And there is a, I believe that's a, okay, that's a sensor right there. I forgot what it's called, but I'm gonna go ahead and remove it. It seems to be like a 12mm bolt. Let me go ahead and remove that real quick. Now on this step, you don't have to remove that crank sensor. I'm only removing it because I'm looking at it and look how bad it is, and I think it's because the water pump has been failing. All that mildew of stuff, so I'm gonna go ahead and replace it since I'm here. And it's basically held in by a 10mm bolt, and I have to remove this one as well. This is also 10mm. I want to say it's also a bolt, but you know, let me go ahead and remove that real quick. Let's see. And again, this you don't have to do, but I'm just gonna remove it just for the sake of you know, me installing everything in order. And at the end of the day, like, I want to make sure that I don't have to redo this part again. And also this is another 10mm bolt that I'm going to go ahead and attempt to remove, and that's going to allow me to remove that cam shaft. I don't know if it's a cam shaft. I'm pretty sure it's a correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to take this one out. I don't want to lose it. And it's also this one right here. So let me go to remove that real quick. And this is a small one. I'm just going to go in and be very careful. And that should allow that sensor to come out. Make sure I set these aside. That way I don't confuse them. And again, look at it. Would you replace it if you were me? I definitely would. Look at that. Even though I don't have any check engines on it, I'd rather just replace it and, you know, call it a day. And I'm definitely gonna have to clean all of this crud out. And this is basically all coolant that we're gonna go ahead and replace. So yeah, and check this out, giving me more exposure to this. All right, let's go continue. So the next step, I'm actually gonna remove the fan bracket, which is this little guy right here. We're gonna go ahead and, I think this is a 12 millimeter nut, and this is a 12 millimeter bolt, and also it's held on but another 12 millimeter bolt. So let me go ahead and take that off real quick. All right, yes, in fact it is a 12 millimeter nut. And one here at the bottom. Let's see if I can get to it. Nope, I can't get to it. So let me see if I could position myself well. And I'm going to remove that, and that should allow us to remove that bracket. Let me go ahead and do that real quick. All right, so just wanted to update you guys. This bottom bolt for the fan bracket is actually a 14 millimeter bolt, and we're also going to have to remove this 14 millimeter nut. And we're going to go ahead and come over here and disconnect the compressor, because we have to also unbolt the compressor set aside so we can kind of get this fan bracket out. There is a Phillips screw. Don't forget when you put this back to include this little ground there. And then we're gonna go ahead and also disconnect. There's actually this little bracket here. We're gonna come underneath the vehicle so I can kind of get you an idea. But this bracket is bolted. See this? Let's see here. Right here. Let's see if my camera could zoom in. I don't know why it's not zooming in. Okay. Hopefully, there's this nut right there that we have to move from the side, and the only way we can do it, you know, if we get underneath the vehicle and do it. So let me kind of see if I can bring you along. Get some lighting here real quick. Bear with me. Yeah. Let me remove this. Out of the way. That way I can kind of give you guys a better angle. Let's see. All right, there we go. You guys can see that. So basically, we have to remove this top bolt. That's a 14 millimeter bolt. And then we have to remove this little bracket holding on that 14 millimeter bolt, and I think this is also a 12 millimeter bolt. And then once you remove that, there's one more here. I believe this one right here. Once you remove that, we're not going to disconnect the AC. We're just going to set it aside here. So let me go ahead and get those out of the way, and then we'll continue. Okay guys, to get that top bolt there, I do recommend to kind of get a deep socket with a swivel attachment to it, and that's going to make your life a lot easier. Let me show you why. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in here like so, and because there's that little tube, you got that, you know, extra swivelness to go around that, see, with the ratchet. And then this one, obviously you could also ratchet this out like this, and then this back one, you could also use this But for this one, you're gonna go ahead and also you could remove that extension to give you that ratchet clearance. And again, pretty easy. Let me show you guys what that looks like. I'm using this ratchet here to get the job done. All I'm doing, let's see if I can give you guys that angle so you guys can see. Just putting this bad boy right here. It's in place. Now I'm gonna go ahead and ratchet that. Maybe switch it up. Okay. There we go. And then for this one, to get this bracket out again, I'm gonna maneuver it like so. And I'm just gonna go ahead and give it the beans right there. I don't know if you can see that, but let me go ahead and take it off real quick, and then I'll come back, guys. All right, guys, just wanted to show you the benefit of really utilizing this setup here, this wobble here. And again, I don't want you guys to have like a difficult time completing this job. So again, the benefit of using that wobble is that whenever you get, like for example, this 12mm nut, you see this oil cooler line, it fits right snugly in here. See if I can kind of show you guys. See that? And it's not in any way, shape, or form keeping you from putting a ratchet in here. And that's how I was able to remove that that nut there holding that bracket. Let me show you guys. There we go. All right, guys, so once you remove these bottom bracket, it's gonna allow you to maneuver that and let me get this one out of the way as well. And also this top one, you see how we're able to maneuver that. Just want to make a note that the top one is bigger than the bottom, the one in the back of the compressor. So this is the one here on the top, right there. And then the one I took off over there is the back one. It's smaller as well, so just try not to get confused. Now if we come back here, you see how it's already, oh, don't forget to take that Phillip screw here, so that way this little bracket could kind of be removed. And we just need this last bolt right here, and I had loosened that up, but let me go ahead and I think the pressure is already in here. That all right, let me go ahead and remove that real quick, show you guys. All right, guys, once you loosen this last bracket, the alternator is just gonna go ahead and hang tight there. Let me show you guys, like so. And the reason why it was very important for us to get this bolt out is because it was holding on to the actual bracket from the fan bracket there. Let me show you guys. See, this is the bolt that we just removed, and it was holding on to the actual fan bracket. So let me go ahead and put this out of the way like we had it, like so. Gives more clearance there. Now that we've loosened that out of the way, we can take this nut, this bolt and this bolt. Just keep in mind that this one's gonna be the one on the top. Oh, be careful. One on the top right there, and this is the one at the bottom Wish the bottom's pretty bigger, it's longer, as you can see. What I like to do, so that way I don't make a mistake. Once I remove this out like so, I'm gonna come back here. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this, put this nut there. That way I don't lose it. And just remember, we took this out here. So we're gonna go ahead and put the bottom. Go back. I'm gonna get the long one. And then this one right there. And I'm gonna keep it this way so that way when it's time to put everything back, I know where they go. All right. So now basically pretty much we got the alternator out of the way to allow us to remove that bracket. Guys, I think I'm gonna call it a day. It's getting a little bit dark. So stay tuned for part 2 for this video. Hopefully you guys were able to follow step by step, and then we'll continue as we go. All right, see you guys in a bit.